Hi guys, FrostFangs here, welcome to another Paladins video. We're playing some Azaan today after, I think, a couple of nerfs since the last video, which was back in January. He's been nerfed a bunch of times and is still in a really good spot, which is sort of the whole point of the video. His build has changed a little bit, but overall he's still very, very similar to where he was, just toned down. He hasn't had any massive changes that really alter anything about him. He's still just a really, really tanky, high output, sort of sustained tank. But yeah, I'm going to cut myself off there because I could talk all day about a bunch of really obvious stuff with him. I'm overall quite happy with where he is, even though he is definitely leaning into the, position of being slightly too good. I'd rather he be where he is now than just nerfed into the ground or changed to the point where he loses the unique elements about him. But yeah, I'm going to go through the build. It's still very close to what it was before. Heal on the right click, heal on the meter, extra health, and then 2 filler cards. I think what we used to run was Eternal Strife. That got nerfed quite a bit. It's still fine if you have the old version of the setup. It works, but I think this is just a little bit more tuned, a little bit better. What is quite interesting is that everybody runs Grim Deliverance and Tools of Salvation, or most people, but very little run Gathering Power. And I think that's because in Siege it is going to be a little bit less strong because you're not going to be as close to get the right click, hit multiple people as often. But for TDM, Onslaught, and in my case Siege as well, it is a very, very strong card, and I couldn't really imagine a setup without it. For me, I would highly recommend you go ahead and give it a go. It is, as far as I'm aware, still sort of broken because I think it still triggers on back turret and Ying decoy, but I didn't test that, so they might have fixed it in like a bug thing. I just didn't read it, or I haven't checked it, but it does still trigger on multiple people, so if you hit 3, it will get 3x. So yeah, we'll queue for an Onslaught and a Siege, jump into a game 1. I was originally going to do an Inara video for today. I played a bunch of Inara sort of in prep for making an Inara video, which I will do. So at some points, it's been like nearly a year since I've covered her. But when I was playing Inara, I picked Azaan once just to mix it up, and he is so much more of a fun character to play and has so many more strengths than what Inara does. Inara has pretty good damage output, to be honest, even though she's kind of underestimated in that aspect, and she can tank a ton. But yeah, just like a character design, she is pretty rigid, whereas Azaan is pretty much strong in every aspect. I couldn't find something that I was lacking whenever I picked him, whereas with Inara there were definitely a few things that I wish I had. With Azaan, he kind of covers everything quite well. Alright, well for game 1, Siege Waters Gate, we've got an Andro, Rom, IO. Shouts to Charlene for their side of Furia, Eliana, Tyra, and Makoa, and an Andro. This is also a bit of a tougher video for me to make because I feel like I made this video already when he released and sort of talking about how good he was. So I'm trying my best to not just repeat myself in this video and say things that other people or I have said a million times already. We'll go for Haven and Nimble to start. I do like Nimble on his own quite a bit just because it lets you be a little bit more aggressive. I think Kronos and Nimble is a better start here though, and then we'll go Haven and probably Veteran. We've got Curse Revolver, Lifelink, Earth Splitter, Sand Trap. Then for their side, Curse Revolver, Burn Monster, Half Shell, Eminence, and Cherish. Burn Monster has been nerfed, I think. I can't remember if that was actually bugged or not in release, but might be misremembering though. This map still has massive frame rate drops, at least for me, and I know quite a few other people, so it can be kind of tough to get a smooth game on. There is the right click which he juked, hit him with the left click though. I'm going to need a little bit of a warm up here, and also just to get in the zone a little bit. I was saying she tapped the wrong button. There's a left click, huge hit, right click for the setup. We'll dash onto the point. There's a right click, dedeploy the Q, huge heals. We could stun the Makoa, we'll just push him over here. Don't really know what just happened. Tyra, Burn Monster, they're really melting through me. Rom with the ult. That's Fury with the ult on their side. Do I go for like the wall here? Yeah, sure. There's a huge right click. Getting hooked. There's the F. Sometimes you can get people through the wall with that. I'm dead. So much mess on the point. They definitely won that just because they got their ults up first. Charlene's at like 60%. Andro and Mia right near the top there. Same with IO. They got theirs. It's a little bit faster. We'll go for a little bit of Haven. Just need to get into the rhythm a little bit because it has been a while since I made an Azaan video. It feels kind of weird whenever I play a character that I don't play like when recording regularly. Let's go on the Makoa. He should be dead here as well. Cool. Get rid of the Andrew here as well. Ram really can stack up triples and quadras and stuff without too much effort, as long as your aim doesn't suck. There we go. Playing on this new version of the map is also kind of weird without the crystals and stuff. I think they did say something about they were going to change some stuff with this map, but I don't remember if that was actually going to happen or not. There's right for the Makoa. We did juke the hook there a little bit, throw the Q up. IO there saying that she hates that the fire still cripples, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that that was something that was meant to get changed and didn't. Ram's thing still goes through the wall, or I mean freaking, what's his name, Azaan. There goes the Andro. Really having a hard time here focusing on everything that's going on. We'll go for the stun in a second. Maybe we'll just stun the Fury instead. Didn't catch her. There's a right click, Leanne's dead. Caught her off guard with the slide there. It's going to be the 1-1. I was correct, Tyra's Burn Monster should have had the nerf where it doesn't cripple, but I'm pretty sure it still does. Must have been one that just slipped through, but people were really happy about it and it didn't even get implemented properly. Just a little bit weird, but there's a bunch of others that have not been implemented properly after like multiple patches, so hopefully this one gets done sooner rather than later. Into round 2. we go. A bit of a try-hard siege, to be honest. Trying to hit some of these medium-range axes. That's IO with the ult, which I don't think caught anybody. I'm missing nearly all of these, though, which is kind of disgraceful. We'll F in. There's a right-click. Jesus Christ, it's like literally everybody. Surprisingly, they're not really jumping on it. We got it to 72%. We've not got a healer because our IO's dead. Just coming back in, but me and Rom sort of got enough health to deal with it. I'm going for the ult. Mako went for the ult to cancel. This is a very, very weird play. He's actually dead. We went through his whole health bar. Q didn't deploy far enough. That's fine. We'll dedeploy it. Just push around the side. Furious ulting. We're going to dash through here. Go for the ult to save the place so I don't go off the map. That was a pretty big hit. Alright, there's another one on the Andro. One on the Tyra. She's very low. Hello, Leanne. There's a right click, left click. She should be out. We're going to dash through. Okay. I'm dead, right? Yeah, I guess that play worked. That was really, really weird, but we've got the 2-1. That's all that really matters. I feel like that's the other thing with Azaan is that to do really, really well with him, you don't even have to play particularly well. Most of his kit is super straightforward. It's not really like a massively high skill ceiling for him as a character compared to some of the other tanks. I feel like are like a little bit more intricate. That's wrong with the ult to cancel the Makoa, but yeah, it's a big reason why he's sort of interpreted as being so strong is because he's so easy to do well with. There goes the Furia. Hello, Leanne. I think we can get rid of you here. You're not a Leanne, by the way. You're a Tara, but that's a team wipe. Definitely been less consistent with videos recently, which I want to get back to sort of being at the same sort of rate I was at before, because whenever I make these videos now after not recording for a couple days, I get kind of rusty with the names and the callouts, and just making basic commentary that usually is quite easy for me. We'll go for the stun. There we go. Right click. I don't like doing that into the wall because it can glitch. We'll dedeploy it. There you go. Rom's going to kill him. Get rid of the Tyra here. There's a hit. F. Hit again. That combo is just disgusting. It feels really good. Honestly, it feels very similar to the Charlene stun combo into the wall. I'm glad that there's something similar to that still in the game after they changed it with Charlene, but there is the 3-1. It's just very, very easy to do, especially after they fix some of the jank with it. Also, not to say that Azaan is a really, really easy character. I also mean that if you are medium good at Paladins, you're going to be really, really close to great with Azaan, or at least performance-wise. Did that make sense? I don't know if I explained that better or worse. We're going to throw the wall up there just to screw over the Tyre, go for the ult just to, again, throw her off a little bit. We'll throw down on her there for the 700. I might be dead. Going to run over this way. There's a right click. Didn't know where she went, but Ram killed her. Alright, Fury ulted. Fury is also still just here. We're going to get some hits on her here. We'll push in just aggressively. There's a right click. There's a Q. Hit the F just to get on the point. That last tick was a little bit too quick. I kind of hate that. The fact that when it's 3-1, sometimes the overtime mechanic makes it kind of turbo. The way it works right now, though, I don't know if I'm fully satisfied with. I'd probably change it a little bit just so it takes a tiny bit slower, because sometimes it feels sort of cheesy when it's like 90% and they get like the double tick on it and it's just instant. Hello, Leanne. Just shredded, just going for the ult. I'm dead. Thought I'd be able to get one more off. Okay, talking about nerfs, I feel like Federman is definitely going to get nerfed sometime soon. I feel like it should probably go up to 250 credits and then see how popular it still is and how much people pick it up and see how it feels, but it definitely should be 200, 202 is cheap. 250 is, I think, a way better spot for it to be. I mean, right now, if I hold tab, pretty much everybody's got it. There goes the Tyra. Don't know how I got that one. Didn't even realize she was there. Hit on the Liam. We're going to push through the fire. Indeed, we are. There's an F. That actually worked. There's a Q just to block the Makoa off. That was a very rude play. Right click for the heal. I do have the ult. Do I want to use it? I don't know. We'll just go for the stun. I got cancelled by the fire there. Okay. I'm dead. This is a pretty good game, even though I'm sort of rough and a little bit scuffy because it's the first match of the video. It is actually going quite well gameplay-wise. I'm not playing terribly. I'm so rough with calling out names lately. There's some hits on the Koa. We'll go for the right click, hit, stun. That might have been a bad idea, but he's dead, so it worked out. Hello, Andro. Gonna wiggle over left, but I guess we're gonna push over on the Tower instead. Right click, unnecessary, but just to guarantee the kill. Hello, Andro. There's no way you're gonna win this duel, even though my accuracy is garbage. I guess we can ult to save. Yeah, he could have definitely won that duel there because I F'd myself off the map, but we still killed him, and I wasted an ultimate on a 3-2. They did nerf the range, right, on the hammer? It wasn't the speed. The speed's still the same. I'm pretty sure it was just the range on it. The max range is a little bit lower than it was before, but it's barely even noticeable. That wall was kind of bad. We'll dedeploy it just as early as you can, really, just to get the cooldown going on it. Makoa's going to run on. He was going to go for the ult, that's why I didn't use the F, although maybe it would have been a good idea to push him away. He is dead here, right? There we go. We can push in to zone them off a bit. Right click, hit, wall, unnecessary wall, but she's gone. There is the Q deploy, and there we go. It's going to be the 4-2. Well-deserved victory, I would say. Even though my plays were super awkward, I feel like that works to demonstrate this even more. The fact that I played Azaan, they're pretty mid, to be honest, and still ended up with a kind of crazy stat. 13-7, 160 seconds on the point. 96k is actually highest damage other than the Lian, and we had 2 tanks. I could have played way better, but even with how I did there, we put a ton of pressure and were a force to be reckoned with. Rom did great there too, so did Andro. Charlene played a bit weird. IO did a great job though. So yeah, I don't really know what I can add here at the end. I feel like that match and just everything about this video has sort of spoken for itself. Azaan could easily still be nerfed more and be in a pretty good spot, but I don't know if that's really necessary. They could probably put persistence down to 25%. A few other parts of his kit may be tweaked a little bit, but as I said in the intro, for me, the whole reason why Azaan is so popular, so strong, and so much of a common pick is because he doesn't really have a very, very obvious and defined weakness compared to a lot of the other front lines. At least from my perspective, you know, playing Paladins as long as I have. The Agarath, she has very, very defined weaknesses. Same sort of thing with Torvald. He doesn't have any movement whatsoever. Terminus has sort of a downtime with his immunity, right? I'm actually going to go through the tanks here real quick and actually define what some of the weaknesses are, because Ruckus is a very unique tank, as I've sort of described in the Ruckus video I made a little while ago. Ram's weaknesses are the fact that he has no shield whatsoever. He's just a huge meat of health, really. Koa, to me, is also a character that doesn't have a really, really easy to define weakness. He's very similar to Azaan in quite a few different ways, but he's very punishing if you miss his abilities. If you miss the hook, you're not going to really feel great playing Makoa. Khan, again, is also a very strong character, but does have weaknesses with the shield being breakable. You're very slow with the shield. Basically, most of the tanks, when you're trying to use a thing that they're powerful for, which is like tanking, they have uptime on it most of the time, or a period where they're sort of vulnerable. Again, this is all just my opinion here at the end of a video, but Azaan doesn't really have downtime. He's constantly outputting damage. He's constantly, you know, able to tank damage with his damage reduction, sustain. He's just really kind of constantly powerful. Going through the last couple here, just because I might as well have done half of them already. Anara, pretty self-explanatory downtime with the right click, same thing with Nano and the shield. I'd say Barracks is a little bit less defined, but still sort of with the turrets, if you get rid of the turrets, a lot of his strength isn't really there. He also doesn't have a huge health pool in the first place. Atlas has a much higher skill ceiling, but does still have weaknesses with his pretty lengthy cooldowns. If you catch him when his F's on like 15 seconds, he's got a lot of time when he is very vulnerable as a character. And then finally, Ash with the shield obviously being down, and also the fact that her F has wind up. There's a few other bits that obviously I didn't go through, but most of them are self-explanatory, whereas with Azaan, you think about when he's weak, there isn't really much that comes to mind. So yeah, just to round out the video a bit, if you stayed all the way here till the end, I really do appreciate you're a real MVP, but my whole point is that I feel like Azaan could do with getting a weakness. Even if they buff, again, some of his sustain that they nerfed previously, some of the cards to give him more of the sustain, and instead then add a weakness on some part of his kit. So if you have any ideas specifically on what you think he should have as possibly a weakness in the future, if you agree with me, of course, I'd love to hear them down in the comments. And if you have any other suggestion or any other opinion, I really would love to hear it down in the comments. I'm going to be checking them quite a bit in this one, as I usually do anyway. But thank you so much for watching. Yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed. Let me know, of course, as always, what you want to see me do next. I'll see you guys all really, really soon. And as always, stay frosty.